You have to understand, the Indian Army is not looking for a very intellectual person.
Okay.
He's not looking for a very intellectual person. We are making soldiers. We are not trying to sell anything. We don't need those kind of skills. What we need is a sincere person. That is the foremost requirement of that interview, and it has been designed. It is a German concept, SSB, जिस पे ये interviews होते हैं. तो जो लोग भी इन interviews के लिए जाते हैं, they just have to remember this कि आपको जो है वो सच बोलना है. कोई भी चीज़ impress करने के लिए गलत नहीं बोलनी. नहीं आता है आपको एक्सेप्ट करना है, मुझे नहीं आता. कोई उसके मार्क्स नहीं कटते. मैंने जैसे बताया, ये जनरल नॉलेज और इंटेलिजेंस का टेस्ट नहीं है. ये वो जॉब ही नहीं है. तो यहाँ ये ज़रूरी है कि हम ये देखते हैं कि आपकी इंटेग्रिटी कैसी है. आर यू अ पर्सन व्हेन इन अ सिचुएशन जो अपने आप को बचाएगा या अपने साथ वाले को बचाएगा. We are trying to see that because ultimately we will be putting you in that situation.
Right.
My first posting was Calcutta, and after that our unit moved to Kashmir. We were inducted in CIF Delta, that is Counterinsurgency Force Delta. So primarily हमारा जो वहाँ task रहता था, that was seek and destroy, which is like you were searching for militants and wiping them out. So apart from in that I remember, वैसे तो बहुत सारे encounters हुए, but most dear one is the first one which I had, because it was something जो मैंने movies में देखा. Because to experience that first, आप firing range में firing करते हो, weapon की एक अलग चीज़ है. जब आप actual firing करते हो कि आप किसी को मारने के लिए गोली चला रहे हो और वो आपको मारने के लिए गोली चला रहा है, things become very different. I think Akhilesh ji himself has to get a little more active on the ground level. That is one thing, because we've seen when he gets down to the ground, Samajwadi Party wins hands down. Wherever he has campaigned on the ground level, when he's there, the votes have changed. So he has to use his presence a lot more than what he is using right now, which will benefit the party, of course. I think I would say concentrate on happiness. Because anything else you try, firstly you may try but you may not succeed. But if you try being happy, chances are you will be successful.
Welcome to the Raj Smriti Show. Today we'll talk about army life, social work and politics. We have with us in our studio Major Ashish Chaturvedi. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
It's an
Thank you.
honor and a pleasure having you, because as ordinary citizens, एक तो आर्मी लाइफ को लेके क्यूरियोसिटी भी रहती है और एक बहुत रिस्पेक्ट होता है, because of you people we live a happy, safe, secured life. And not just army, you have been into social work, you are active in politics. So all these three major areas जो होते हैं that impact the life of a common man in a big way. And you are covering all three fields in a very beautiful way. So to begin with, tell us about your journey as to, did you always want to be in army? आप army officer ही बनना चाहते थे? How did this happen?
Actually, I'm third generation in the army from my family. My grandfather was in the army.
Wow.
Father was in the army. So I've grown up in this environment. तो बचपन से ही olive green पहनने का एक वो था. When my father would not be there, of course, I think every boy who has a father who's wearing some uniform as he's growing up would have definitely in his absence tried that uniform.
You want
I'm
to
sure
wear that.
everyone must have done that.
Yes.
And I was no exception to that. मैंने भी वो चीज़ को कई बार किया शीशे के सामने. ऑफ कोर्स वो थोड़ी लूज हुआ करती थी. तो बट देन वहीं से आई थिंक एक और उस एनवायरनमेंट को आप देखते हो, उसी में आप पले बड़े हो, उसी में ग्रो कर रहे हो, तो कहीं ना कहीं इट इन्फ्लुएंसेस यू. And as a result, I also landed up in the army. And I'm from the same regiment like my father was. He was also from Gurkhas. and I'm also from Gurkhas.
From the Gurkhas. So you got an environment, as you said that you were the third generation to enter into the army. So आपके पास एक guidance थी, एक platform था. You knew how to, but there are a lot of people who want, but they don't know how to start, where to start, क्या करना पड़ता है, to become an army officer. What are the preparations that is needed? What kind of education is needed? What all you should do in life to enter this kind of service? So give us an insight into it.
वैसे तो everything is available on internet today. It is very easy. But mostly where people go wrong is the interview, which we call the SSB. उसमें सिलेक्शन रेट जो होता है वो आई थिंक 1% भी नहीं रहता है. सो इफ देयर आर 100 कैंडिडेट्स अपीयरिंग फॉर एन इंटरव्यू, देयर आर 99 हु आर गोइंग बैक वर्चुअली, एंड एट टाइम्स ऑल 100 ऑफ देम गो बैक. रीज़न वहाँ पे गड़बड़ इसलिए होती है कि यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द इंडियन आर्मी इज नॉट लुकिंग फॉर अ वेरी इंटेलेक्चुअल पर्सन. Is not looking for a very intellectual person. We are making soldiers. We are not trying to sell anything. We don't need those kind of skills. What we need is a sincere person. That is the foremost requirement of that interview, and it has been designed. It is a German concept, SSB, जिस पे ये interviews होते हैं. तो जो लोग भी इन interviews के लिए जाते हैं, they just have to remember this, कि आपको जो है वो सच बोलना है. कोई भी चीज़ impress करने के लिए गलत नहीं बोलनी है. नहीं आता है आपको एक्सेप्ट करना है, मुझे नहीं आता है. कोई उसके मार्क्स नहीं करते. मैंने जैसे बताया, ये जनरल नॉलेज और इंटेलिजेंस का टेस्ट नहीं है. ये वो जॉब ही नहीं है. तो यहाँ ये ज़रूरी है कि हम ये देखते हैं कि आपकी इंटेग्रिटी कैसी है. आर यू अ पर्सन व्हेन इन अ सिचुएशन जो अपने आप को बचाएगा या अपने साथ वाले को बचाएगा. We are trying to see that, because ultimately we will be putting you in that situation. Right. तो कहीं ना कहीं the job of the people who are taking this interview, it's a very extensive interview taken by very different kind of experts. And it's a very simple interview. There is no preparation as such which is required, because we are only analyzing that individual.
Your sincerity, your attitude.
Yes, we are totally officer-like qualities, जिसे हम OLQ बोलते हैं in our language. We are only assessing and looking for that. तो जस्ट फोकस ऑन दैट. बी पॉजिटिव. यू हैव टू बी अ पॉजिटिव पर्सन. आपकी सोच जो है बेसिकली पॉजिटिव होनी चाहिए. दैट इज द फॉरमोस्ट रिक्वायरमेंट. ये है, यू विल मेक इट थ्रू. और अगर ये नहीं है तो you'll not make it through.
I think that attitude of serving the nation, saving your people,
it has to be somewhere inside. आपके अंदर passion होना चाहिए. उस it's not a job. It's a way of life, as Manik Shah had said.
Right.
It's not a job. Army is not a job. It's a way of life. So you have to be prepared and enthusiastic about it. Yes, I want to be that, and you want to live life like that. Right. So long as you have that, you make it.
You can be there. So how was your life as an army officer? What kind of war? So I think हुआ नहीं था. So if we can say encounters happened, or wherever you were posted, what was the situation you had to go through?
It was very interesting. It becomes very interesting when you go to the academy itself. It starts from there. I remember वहाँ से ही शुरुआत होती है, and there are a lot of fears which every individual has. कुछ लोगों को हाइट का फियर होता है, कुछ लोगों को पानी का फियर होता है, कुछ को दिस एक्सटेंसिव ट्रेनिंग का फियर होता है. सो जितने आपके ये डर होते हैं, एकेडमी उन सब को आपको हेल्प करती है ओवरकम करने में.
डर के आगे जीत.
यू कैन से दैट. सो होता क्या है कि लाइक आई रिमेंबर व्हेन आई वाज डूइंग कमांडोज, तो उसमें एक हमारा वो होता है, व्हेन यू मस्ट हैव सीन इन मूवीज, हेलीकॉप्टर से स्लिदरिंग होती है. सो जो रोप होता है एक्चुअली वो बहुत पतला होता है. Okay. So when you grip, and you're wearing gloves, so when you grip that rope, तो आपको feel नहीं आता है कि मेरे हाथ में कुछ है, and your entire body weight will be on these two arms, and you're jumping from a अच्छा खासा height. So there are a lot of people who have to be pushed because पैर आगे नहीं बढ़ते हैं. Swimming pool में होता है, you have to jump, लोग आगे नहीं बढ़ते हैं. So there are a lot of things, like grenade होता है. बहुत से लोगों को वो पिन निकाल के जब ग्रेनेड दिया जाता है, the first time when you're lobbing a grenade, लोगों के हाथ गड़बड़ होते हैं. कई बार ऐसा भी इंसिडेंट हुआ है, फेंकना उधर है, वो इधर फेंक गया है, डर से अब इधर फेंक गया, उधर के बजाय. तो बहुत चीजें होती हैं. तो दिस इज हाउ यू लर्न, दिस इज हाउ यू बिकम अ बेटर पर्सन. यू ग्रो एज एन इंडिविजुअल, you learn a lot of things, and this is what the training is about, how to make you a better person in every aspect.
In every aspect.
This is what Army does.
So I'm sure the academy must have been a life-changing experience, and whatever you are today has contributed to that in a big way, and that's why you can do social work, you can enter into politics, because it has prepared you in an all-round individual who can take up any challenge, can be sincere, devoted, and hard work to any given assignment. So, did you face any life-threatening encounters in your assignment?
Yeah, many times. I got posted. My first posting was Calcutta, and after that, our unit moved to Kashmir. We were inducted in CIF Delta, that is Counterinsurgency Force Delta. So primarily, हमारा जो वहाँ task रहता था, that was seek and destroy, which is like you were searching for militants and you
destroy
wiping them out. So apart from in that. I remember वैसे तो बहुत सारे encounters हुए, but I always the most dear one is the first one which I had, because it was something जो मैंने movies में देखा. Because to experience that first, आप firing range में firing करते हो, weapon की एक अलग चीज़ है. जब आप actual firing करते हो कि आप किसी को मारने के लिए गोली चला रहे हो और वो आपको मारने के लिए गोली चला रहा है, things become very different. लोगों के रिएक्शंस बहुत फ़र्क होते हैं. नॉट एवरी वंस ब्रेव इनफ. लोग कई लोग नीचे छुपते हैं, ऊपर नहीं आना चाहते हैं जहाँ गोली चल रही. बहुत से ऐसी चीज़ें आपके सामने आती हैं, एंड एज एन ऑफिसर यू हैव टू मैनेज नॉट जस्ट दैट, यू हैव टू मैनेज दिस थिंग्स ऑल्सो. या कोई ओवर एंथुजियास्टिक हो रहा है, जो मैंने एक दो बार मैंने भी गलती करी है. लाइक आई गिव बिफोर आई नरेट दैट, आई गिव यू अ वेरी स्मॉल एग्जाम्पल. when we were doing search in the villages in the higher regions, होता है क्या है कि ठंड बहुत ज़्यादा होती है कश्मीर में. जब तो क्या होता है, जो गांव वाले होते हैं वो एक छोटा सा वो मड हाउस बनाते हैं और उसको विंटर्स में नीचे खाली करके नीचे आ जाते हैं, बिकॉज स्नो की वजह से. एंड यूजुअली जो मिलिटेंट्स होते हैं वो इन खाली घरों का इस्तेमाल करते हैं व्हेन दे आर पासिंग थ्रू. सो व्हेन एवर वी अप्रोच दिस विद वेरी कॉशन, बिकॉज आपको एक्सपेक्ट नहीं करते हो अचानक आप खोलोगे और अंदर मिलिटेंट्स होते हैं. और कई बार ऐसा हुआ है कि पीपल हैव ओपन्ड द डोर एंड अंदर से सीधे फायर हो जाता है. तो इन माई एंथुजियाज्म व्हेन आई वाज अ यंग कंपनी कमांडर एज अ लेफ्टिनेंट, एक घर था, तो हमने उसे घेरा हुआ था. घेरने के बाद हमने वार्निंग दी कि अगर कोई है तो बाहर आ जाओ. तो कोई नहीं आया. यूजुअली आते भी नहीं है, बहुत कम ही होता है, बिकॉज दे नेवर सरेंडर. तो मुझसे गलती क्या हुई कि अब जोश में होता है कई बार, तो मैंने दरवाजे पे लात मारी. और मैंने क्योंकि हम वेपन को सेफ्टी पे रखते हैं, क्योंकि कई बार फिंगर से ऐसा ना हो कि खुद ही चल जाए. तो ओनली व्हेन वी आर इन दैट सिचुएशन हम उसका जो सेफ्टी है वो हटाते हैं. तो मैंने सोचा कि ठीक है, मैं आई वॉज वॉकिंग टूवर्ड्स दैट डोर, और मैंने सोचा कि अब इसका सेफ्टी हटाता हूँ और इसको कॉक करता हूँ वेपन को. सो आई वॉज हैविंग एन AK-47. तो साइमल्टेनियसली मैंने सोचा कि चलो बस दरवाजे पे लात मारूंगा और ये कॉक कर लूंगा. वो थोड़ा सा मुझसे डिले हो गया कॉक करने में और मेरा वेपन अटक गया. तब तक मैंने दरवाजे पे लात मार दी, तो दरवाजा खुल गया. अब एक तो वेपन मेरा थोड़ा सा अटका, फिर हो गया कॉक. लेकिन व्हाट आई डिडंट रियलाइज वाज, वो वहाँ पे खिड़कियाँ नहीं होती घर में. तो जैसी लात मारी वो बिल्कुल अंधेरा था, जैसे पिक्चर हॉल में होता है. यू सडनली एंटर एंड वहाँ तो फिर भी स्क्रीन पे कुछ है तो एक लाइट होती है. द मोमेंट आई एंटर्ड आई वाज ब्लाइंडफोल्ड, क्योंकि अंदर पूरा अंधेरा था. वो लकीली कोई भी नहीं था उसके अंदर. बट देन दैट वाज अ मिस्टेक व्हिच आई मेड. तो हमारी ट्रेनिंग के हिसाब से गलत अप्रोच थी,
क्योंकि अंदर से फायरिंग हो सकती थी.
अंधेरा था, ये मैं विजुअलाइज ही नहीं कर पाया कि अंदर तो अंधेरा है, मुझे दिखाई नहीं. मुझे कुछ नहीं दिखा अंदर, क्योंकि आईज टेक टाइम टू एडजस्ट. थोड़ा सा हाँ, that was a mistake which I made. So these are small things. If you're lucky enough, you sit and survive to tell. Otherwise, you come back wrapped in a flag. So this is something which those people who are serving in such areas should be careful of. कि जोश कम भी नहीं होना चाहिए और जोश ज़्यादा भी नहीं होना चाहिए. Because both ways it is harmful.
True. You were narrating another incident.
This happened. There was. I had a knee injury उस time पे. So all our unit was in an operational activity, and then all of a sudden I was told that there are 6-7 militants hiding in a particular village close by to my location. So I was given this input. So my CEO asked me, "Can you, if you're able to walk, you should check it out. If you're able to walk." I said, "Sir, yes, I'll be able to walk." So I was having difficulty, so I took a walking stick, and because वो पहाड़ों में ऊपर नीचे और ज़्यादा problem होती है, so I gave my weapon to the next person walking behind me, and I was walking with a walking stick. We reached that house जहाँ पे we were told, we cordoned off, and they started firing. So it was confirmed that we've surrounded them. Again, the same situation. The houses have only windows in front. So once you've surrounded the house from the front in Kashmir, mostly in the remote areas, वहाँ पीछे से बाहर जाने का कोई रास्ता नहीं होता है. It has all three sides walls.
Okay.
Doors and windows only on the front.
Front side.
Right. So if you have the front, you have them surrounded. They can't escape. They have to come out this way only. So this was going on. I was running out of my ammunition because they were firing, we were firing. So उसमें steps पे fire, farming होती है. So we would have cover. This much part would be exposed. We would fire, duck as in
Go down.
Yeah. So this was going on. So I was running out of my ammunition. It was getting dark. So I called for extra ammunition. I was provided that. This was going on. But it struck me that this way we'll keep firing. I don't know if we have killed anyone. I wasn't sure. So what I thought was, वहाँ भी क्या होता है कश्मीर कि जो घर होते हैं, घरों के नीचे वो जानवर रखते हैं.
Okay.
तो विंटर्स के लिए वो लोग वो उसमें भूसा रख लेते, काफ़ी सारा ना स्टोरेज फॉर विंटर्स. तो आई थॉट इंस्टेड ऑफ फायरिंग ऑन दैट, आई टोल्ड माई चैप्स कि नीचे फायरिंग करो इस भूसे में, मुझे इसमें आग लगानी है. सो सब फायरिंग जो है हमने वहाँ डाइवर्ट की. विद सो मच फायरिंग वो आग पकड़ गया. सो नाउ आई वाज श्योर कि अब दे डोंट हैव अ चॉइस. नीचे से स्मोक एंड वुडन हाउसेज होते हैं. सो आग बहुत जल्दी चलती चली गई. तो मुझे मालूम था अब ये निकल नहीं पाएंगे यहाँ से. सो देन उसमें बीच में इवन आई ट्राइड विद रॉकेट लॉन्चर विच वॉज माई एक्सपेरिमेंट. अगेन आई गॉट टू नो कि यूजली रॉकेट लॉन्चर वी यूज फॉर एंटी टैंक ऑपरेशंस टू डिस्ट्रॉय अ टैंक. बट वो उसको उतना रेजिस्टेंस नहीं मिला. तो जो मैंने रॉकेट लॉन्चर फायर कराया वो थ्रू एंड थ्रू निकल गया. It didn't blast. It just went through the house. So मुझे फिर वो ये था कंसर्न कि पीछे विलेज है. So I'll unnecessarily cause civilian casualties. So I had to check on that. I couldn't, go ahead with that. Otherwise, it was very easy. Rocket launcher, if it blasts, it will just blow off. So we didn't had to do this exchange of fire with the weapon. So this went on. तो जब आग लग गई तो उसके बाद I took an LMG. In between, I lost one chap next to me. He was sent by RR Rashtriya Rifles to enforce me. Unfortunately, he lost his life right next to me. So then I took an LMG and I knew कि अब मैंने दरवाजे पे लगा रखा था उसे, उस पे पॉइंटेड था. And I was waiting कि अब कोई आएगा. And वही हुआ. जब आया तो the first chap, single shot down. Then another person again down. Then there was a third person again. Then I fired a burst. He also died. So we killed. So 3 of them were killed there, and the other 3 had been killed earlier, which we didn't know because firing अंदर से हो रही थी, तो we didn't know. The second day when we this whole house had burned down and पूरा वो हो चुका था, then we recovered the bodies and the weapons. That's how we got to know कि the 3 had earlier died, and these 3 were killed by me.
So I mean, for common people ना जब blood निकलता है तो अपना निकले या किसी और का निकले, we go haywire.
Right.
In the army, I'm sure they prepare you to face all this, but still after killing someone or having seen your own people killed, does it leave an emotional turmoil or kind of a baggage, or it shakes you from within? How do army officers feel when they see blood happening all around them?
It is a slightly difficult sight. Not because you've killed somebody, because at times क्या होता है कि local militants होते हैं, फिर उनकी families आती हैं body लेने के लिए. So there will be women, there will be children, there will be wife, somebody's sister, somebody's mother. So I feel कि when you see all that happening, and at times, yes, of course, There have been another few encounters which I had, and उसमें हम लोगों ने there was one incident where we had shot, but he was shot, I think about 30-40 bullets were there in him, but he was still alive.
Oh.
So when I walked up to him, we were just checking the bodies, confirming if they're killed. So when I next to him, he was still alive. You know, those aakhri saansein thi. He was looking at me, and there was another boy from my. He just came and he just shot him again. So to see this happening in front of your eyes, yes, of course, it is. It's a very difficult kind of a scenario, and especially when you're losing your own men. In an operation, we had few militants surrounded behind a very huge rock, but we could not, they were very well covered. So we had surrounded them, but the party which was approaching the militants, we had surrounded the hill. But जहाँ पे ये लोग छुपे हुए थे, we were sending small teams. So in exchange of fire, we saw one, of our men falling down. After another exchange of fire, another of our men falling down. And then third one, to see them fall and die, and for what? For he's not fighting for that or losing his life for that salary which he is getting.
True.
Now I have to ensure, how as a company commander, what their families, whatever they're entitled to, what will be their future, whatever they'll be doing. And in this particular, the three of them who lost their lives, there was one guy, he wanted to go on leave. Actually, he was blessed with a baby boy or a girl, I don't remember, but he was blessed with a child after 10 years of marriage. So he had come to me asking for leave, and I had told him कि बस ये last operation है, you can go after this is done. And after this thing happened, I was wondering, had I sent him, maybe that girl or boy would have seen his father, and this fellow could have seen his newborn child. But unfortunately वो नहीं हो पाया. So you keep questioning whether it was the right thing to do or not.
Right.
So these are the kind of difficult situations which you are facing, but yet you have to manage everything. You have your own personal problems, like which every individual, हर एक इंसान की जिंदगी में होती हैं. Apart from that, you are working in this kind of an constant environment where either you are being, or your people are being killed, or you are killing somebody. And not just killing, interrogations also. Those are also not very easy. The interrogations are also very difficult. A lot of shouting and screaming, and you're also not sure whether the person you're subjecting, जिसको आप interrogate कर रहे हैं, वो कितना involved है, कितना नहीं
सही है, गलत है.
But then I do not have that God's vision, so I have to go by the circumstantial evidence.
The duty that you're supposed to perform.
We have to. So it's all in all, it's a very difficult kind of an environment to operate.
I know. So what kind of tools you have, because as we see in the movies या वैसे कि army life बहुत difficult होती है given the scenario. जितने भी border के areas है, या तो extreme cold है, extreme heat है, plus life conditions, the kind of things available. It's not a comfortable situation. Even if you have everything, still it's not a kind of a comfort zone where people want. And then you see आप blood देख रहे हो रहा. कैसे, how do you equip yourself, or how do you keep yourself mentally, emotionally strong? Physical fitness तो चलिए खाना पीना मिलता है, चलता रहता है, but वो जो एक होता है ना, mental and emotional strength in such kind of scenario. So how do people, or how do army officers,
I think that comes from somewhere inside.
Okay.
That is all part of the training, because that is how you're trained, and that is what you're trained for. This is, as I said, this is not a job. It's a way of life. You want to live like that. You basically, that adrenaline rush, that thing is there. You
surrender yourself to that bigger cause.
You are part of that. You're going with the flow. There are so many others who've done it before you, and there'll be so many others who will do it after you.
Right.
So this aura of wearing that uniform, when you wear that uniform, you're no longer that simple person that you used to be. there is that thing which comes into you because you feel connected to so many people. Those who are there at your command are ready to give their lives by your one command. And similarly, the hierarchy works. We never question. We're told to attack when we know there's a minefield, we're being fired upon. Yet we do it. So this is, I think, this uniform has its own aura, which gives you that strength and the cause. Ki yes, even if you die, you're dying for a very worthy cause.
Right.
And you actually believe in that. That same person will not die here in this environment. But over there, he's a different individual.
He'll not think twice.
Yeah, over there, he's a very different individual. Like another example I'll give you, like my father was from Gurkhas. So and later on I joined the unit where people had seen me growing up. And this happens only in Indian Army and especially in Gurkhas, So my CO had told कि बहुत छोटा है साहब अभी, ख्याल रखना है. So I would not let any of the Jawans walk in front of me. So what my Jawans would do to protect me, from sides they would go ahead to keep a check. I'm not the first one being fired upon. This doesn't happen anywhere else. Because sure shot, the first person who's there in that column is going to be hit.
Right.
So they are risking their lives by going from sideways, walking ahead of me without telling me. Because if obviously I come to know, I have to tell them to get back. So they were doing this.
Because they've seen you grow in front of their eyes.
And they have this key, yes, we have to protect our officer. So this is a very big thing which no amount of money can buy. No amount of power can buy this kind of
love and respect.
Nowhere else. I'll give you another small example. While you remember there was a parliament attack many years back.
Right.
At that time the war was very imminent. Our unit was part of the strike corps, so we were preparing for war. In that rehearsals which we do, which we call operations, various kind of exercises, which we call, the term is exercise. Those rehearsals are called exercise. So in that we were doing rehearsal, and we were told to stay self-sustained for about 48 hours.
Okay.
But we could not carry any extra ration, only an individual, whatever that person could carry, and that same amount of water. And they had chosen a location where there was no habitation and there was no water. So we had 48 hours to stay there and survive on the water bottles which we had. No extra water could be.
And ration.
Nothing could be carried. So on the second night, and we were walking for about 40-50 kilometers every day. So you can imagine, they were making us walk. So you're tired, you're fatigued, and yet, so this is what training is. There's a saying in the army that, the more you sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. So on the second night, I was so thirsty. My water had finished. So, but we still had about 15 kilometers to walk to where the point where we were to be picked up, where the vehicles were lined up. We had to finish, so we still had about 10 to 15 kilometers approximately to walk. So I told my Sahayak, every officer has one Sahayak. I said, Pani, dekho. So in front of me, there was this guy. He had his thoda sa pani tha uski bottle, and he was about to drink. Yahan tha bottle aise. And he heard me. And I could see it. And he haath niche aaya. And in Nepali, he said, Sable de do. Saab ko de do. And I didn't have the heart in the world to take that water. But मुझे लग रहा था मैं नहीं पीऊंगा तो मैं मर जाऊंगा. But I was still contemplating, I'm the officer in charge, I can't do this. And how can I take somebody's water? जो वो पीने ही वाला था कि, and he was not liable to give it to me. He was having his, and but उसने दे दिया. And I had, इतना ही था. I had that. I was like, अगर मैं पानी नहीं पिया तो मर जाऊंगा. Because I had reached that point.
Your body was giving up.
It was giving up. It was giving up. And firstly, there's another thing, because they are Gurkhas. So they are hilly troops. So they can, physically, they are well equipped. We are from plains. I'm from Lucknow.
Right.
So climbing hills, walking on hills, we are not at par with them. So that was another discomfort or disadvantage you can say to me.
Correct.
But whatever said and done, I was the officer in charge. But I shouldn't have. But then I did. I had no choice.
You face such life,
So it was
changing decisions wherein you don't know kya kare, kya sahi hai,
such
kya
a big
galat
thing.
hai.
You know, like me having that water is nothing. That person who was about to have water,
Offering that to you.
that water, जब प्यास लगी हो तो पानी से ज्यादा कीमत तो कुछ है ही नहीं किसी चीज की, और जब मालूम है कहीं कुछ नहीं मिलने वाला है.
Right.
So these are those moments which you cherish and you remember, because कहीं और ये हो ही नहीं
हो ही
सकता.
नहीं सकता.
कहीं नहीं हो सकता. हो ही नहीं सकता. Impossible. It will only happen in this army.
Indian Army, the great Indian Army.
That is why it is such a closely knit family, and it has people who have given their lives. So many of them.
And we have, as a nation, we have sustained ourselves. We have grown. From being a victim to now, on our path to being superpowers. Right. It's in a big way, the way Indian Army is being projected and the way our defense personals lead the country from front. Now nobody, I think past 10 years, कोई अटैक, कोई बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट, इस तरह की चीज़ें नहीं हुई है. 2014 से पहले जितनी हो रही थी, the last Bombay attack and all that we had. Of late, we don't fear.
Things are there, but less.
Less. It's been less. So what made you, leave the army?
Once I had done all this, then there was a more a different side to me, and then I wanted to, yes, I've done this. I've whatever I wanted to accomplish, I was lucky enough to accomplish that. And after that, I felt that yes, I wanted to do more in life.
Okay.
I didn't want to do work. In fact, I gave a couple of interviews. But then I didn't like the environment, especially after working in the army. It's very difficult to adjust to
in the corporate settings,
culture.
Right.
I didn't like that. But then I knew that yes, I wanted to do something, but what exactly I was not able to figure out. But yes, I wanted to do something in life, something worthwhile, in a different way. So then I left army, and then there were a few years of struggle because I was trying to establish my own business, and then things were not working out because I had no clue about business. कैसे चलता है, क्या चलता है? So then there was a bad phase because everyone would say ये क्या किया, क्यों छोड़ दिया, अच्छा भला था, ये क्या कर रहे हो?
One of the most prestigious
and it's a very comfortable life. All said and done, no matter where we are, even in the harshest of environment, you're a very comfortable in terms of everything. There's nothing shortage of anything. You want to have a drink anywhere in between, you have that luxury. We have our own band. I remember when I was doing the appointment of an adjutant in the unit, and we were in an insurgency area, but we would come to camp. We being from Gurkhas, we had a jazz band. So they would sing all those songs and all, and even there I would make them, okay, ab ye sunao, ab ye sunao, ab wo sunao, and they would play. And
the famous army parties and the nightlife.
वहाँ तो हम ही होते थे बस, और कोई होता नहीं था. But then the band would play, and at times tourists लोग जाते थे तो वो देखते तो वो भी हैरान हो जाते थे कि कैसे there is somebody singing Buffalo Soldier and a lot of songs, and the guys would sing well. Gurkhas are good with guitar and singing, so we would have that. So a material of the harsh environment, you're well taken care of. There's nothing, but there's stuff. But then everything is there. It's a mixed bowl, you can say. So after I left, then I started getting into social work. That is how I somewhat started getting involved.
So you left the army, you had your struggle trying to figure out ki ab kya kare, because as you said, you wanted to do something and more meaningful work. And now that we see that you've got the title of Sher-e-Awadh. So what is that, and tell us about that journey.
After my encounters with the terrorist, mostly the encounters which happened with me were from Lashkar-e-Toiba. The militants were belonging to Lashkar-e-Toiba. After I left, there was an incident in which Lashkar-e-Toiba had killed, I think, 4 or 5 soldiers in an encounter in Jammu and Kashmir.
I think that was the most aggressive militant group in Jammu and Kashmir.
It has always been. Then by that time I was heading the ex-servicemen federation of UP. So I wanted to protest against this. So I had organized a protest in Hazratganj, wherein मैंने इसका पुतला जो है वो जलाया था, हाफिज सईद का, who's the head of Lashkar-e-Toiba. And I had challenged him कि you call wherever you wish to, I will come, we will fight. Now this spread out because media was there, and I had already killed many of their terrorists. So as a result हुआ क्या कि उन्होंने फतवा जारी कर दिया, बुलाया तो नहीं लेकिन फतवा जारी कर दिया. Today he is the most wanted man in the world. Yes. After Osama bin Laden, he is the most wanted man. Today he carries a reward of $40 billion on his head, and जब वो उसने फतवा किया तो of course the threat level increased. Of course.
So did you get calls and death?
Yeah, there have been intelligence inputs. Twice I had to, the intelligence unit had contacted me that you have to be careful and we will be giving you security. So which I didn't like. So I thought it was invasion of privacy.
But then they are fanatics, I mean, we have seen कि जैसे वो फतवा जारी करते हैं, फिर कोई भी कभी भी कहीं से भी किसी को मार सकता है.
So about 2-3 people cannot protect you. If it's
they are hell-bent on that,
they'll get you, then they will get you anyhow. Right. If they could get, there have been prime ministers, there have been army chiefs. Right. Their security is at a very high level. But yet if they're destined, I think they get you anyways. So I thought, let it be. So there was this Delhi-based NGO which for this act granted me this title. Right. So this is how this happened.
Okay, nice. So now as a social worker, what all you do or how you are bringing about change in the society? What are the key areas that you are working?
Primarily, I'm working for welfare of ex-soldiers and their families, and taking up issues which are related to the soldiers, whether serving soldiers or ex-soldiers. Primarily, I'm doing that. Apart from that, I'm patron of Indian Roti Bank, which is an organization wherein we feed people. We've expanded. We have almost presence in 11 states. Nice. So it's a no donation basis NGO. It's only
I think you
food.
Make roti and you give food, any kind of food.
Food. Food is collected, food is distributed.
So that nobody is hungry, everyone
This
sleeps.
is the concept, and this is one of the organizations. Then there is a Rakht Purak organization in which we do blood donation. Okay. We organize blood donation camps and we help people. We have a lot of volunteers who are there to donate blood. So I myself by now donated 29 times. Wow. Blood I've donated. Then there is a Danveer Foundation, for which I'm the brand ambassador, wherein we encourage people to donate their organs. That is post once you're not there, so you can still live. Yeah. Which is a good thing, I think. You should do that. And a couple of other organizations also I'm working with. But primarily it is this. And then I'm promoting, there's a Join Indian Army campaign in which I go to different schools and colleges where I take lectures. Okay. That is more specific to guide students, how they can prepare themselves, what their life would be, what they can expect.
For army life or any kind of army life? Okay.
So we do that also. So this is these are the kind of things which we are doing. I think
your hands are all full. I think something or the other keeps you
keep doing it.
busy.
It's something worthwhile. It gives you happiness. It gives you a lot of happiness doing all these things. The small schools where the government school, I've been to a lot of schools wherein the students didn't have proper winter clothing. So I just collected from my friends. Like I ask you, okay, you don't have any, some clothes which you are not wearing now, but they are in good condition.
Usable condition.
Yeah. So collect. These are small things which anybody can do. Right. I'm not doing anything great.
But you're doing.
Doing.
A lot of us are not doing
now, imagine the person who doesn't have that, the child who doesn't have that. Your children's clothes can go to that child. Right. So उसके लिए कितनी बड़ी चीज़ है? For you it is a little effort of, you know,
Just
firstly
sorting
collecting
things
and then taking it to them.
right
It is,
place, yeah.
it is just this much. But for that child or that person जिसके पास नहीं है, उसके लिए वो बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है.
I mean, it's happiness for them, you know, when you visit
It's a necessity.
those places.
Again, the winters are there.
Aji, I think I was reading the newspaper and they had an article on this, you know, कि how so many government schools, they don't have sweaters because उनका शायद आधार अपडेट नहीं हुआ तो funds नहीं आए तो पैसा नहीं रिलीज हुआ and all of it, like, you know, too many things. So I was like, you know, in this era also, when we are talking about Mars and Moon, we are still struggling with basic necessities.
Those things are necessary.
Yeah.
But then if there are people dying because of
hunger,
poverty,
cold.
Because of cold, what use is of us, you know, going to other planets when on this earth we are not able to take care of our human beings? So I think focus should be here also. And this is what something just, you know, like if you can spend, if you can afford it, do that. But if you cannot, at least do this much.
Yes. I mean, you know, as they say, reuse and recycle, we have plenty. I think it's just that we are hoarding and it's not being
you
channelized.
Keep throwing, ultimately, you like we collect household utensils also. Like you have a cup set. You usually have, you know, one or two get broken, so you would say, okay, ab isko phek do, ye cup bekar hai.
Right.
But then that again can be, you know, given to somebody. Your old press, your old some equipment, anything which is there at home, which you're not going to use, but it is usable. You should not just throw it. Give it to somebody.
Give it to somebody.
Place.
Right. True.
I think this is what can make things easier for a lot of people who don't have that. You're lucky enough to have that.
True. So from army to social work, and then politics. You are an active member of Samajwadi Party and you have played key roles and crucial roles in establishing the party. So tell us about your political journey.
I knew Akhilesh and Dimple from long back. One day I had gone to visit Akhilesh at his place and he casually said that, you know, I'm going for a rally. If you're free, why don't you come along with me? I said, okay. So I went, we went for the rally. While we were returning in the helicopter, there were three of us, me, Mulayam Singh ji and Akhilesh. All three of us were talking and then suddenly Mulayam Singh ji ने अखिलेश से पूछ लिया कि आशीष को चुनाव लड़ा रहे हो कि नहीं लड़ा रहे हो? तो अखिलेश said, yes, मैं सोच रहा हूँ लड़ाऊंगा. तो he asked me कि लड़ोगे?
Are you ready for it?
I said, yeah, why not? आप कहोगे लड़ लेंगे. तो he said, okay. तो मुझे लगा मे बी अब इलेक्शंस तो काफ़ी टाइम था उस टाइम पे. But then in Lucknow Cant constituency, Rita Bhaguna ji, she resigned from her constituency because she was contesting as a member of parliament.
Right.
So all of a sudden there was a election. So I was physically and mentally not prepared for this and financially of course. So all of a sudden he tells me कि election आ गया, आओ लड़ो. So I was under the impression I have 2 to 3 years wherein I can prepare myself politically, financially to align to that. But this was just, you know, all of a sudden I was told, and that is how Aparna Yadav's ticket was, you know, done away with to just me. So which led to her eventually walking out of the family. So this is how I started my political, and then of course were the debates and you know, then one another and another, and then things have been going on, and then I was traveling and I was joining. लोगों को काफी लोगों को join कराया. You know, thousands of people have joined Samajwadi Party. So my little effort has benefited a little, but yeah, it's a long way to go. But just a start. It's a start. It's a new start, it's a new journey, it's a totally different field.
I know. But as part of the opposition party, you know, we do campaigns here and there. एक साल पहले हम कर रहे थे What Bharat Wants. So we were, you know, taking bites of people, random people on streets, and उस समय rallies वगैरह चल रही थी. So we found lot of supporters for Akhilesh Yadav ji. So youth especially, they were like, Akhilesh bhaiya ही आएंगे and होना है, Sapa is this. So there is a huge fan following. The supporters are all there. They want the Sapa government to come back. We've seen the kind of work, you know, which has been done by them. be it the stadium or other things that has happened in the city. But somewhere we don't, feel the presence of the opposition party. Like the workers are there, but somehow the leaders are missing who can, lead from the front. Like BJP, you go any event, you have 4 to 5 leaders standing right there, cheering the crowd or just being there. Be it shadi, be it कुछ भी हो, वो रहते हैं. But when it comes to other opposition parties, we don't see a presence. Why is that so?
I think this is one of the things which needs to be looked into. It's a thing which we have to, rectify. The party has to give out more faces to the public.
Okay.
I think why we are not doing that, I think we are losing because of that. Because if you see, when Mulayam Singh ji's time, he had different faces for different set of people.
Okay.
For section A, for section B, a person representing, A class, B class, C, D. Today, I think there is a need to give out faces which become representative of those various communities or castes or religion. You need to give out a message to the people. Ki these are my faces who are representing these people. I think this is one thing which has to be looked into. And of course, there are a couple of other things also. I think Akhilesh ji himself has to get a little more active on the ground level. That is one thing, because we've seen when he gets down to the ground, Samajwadi Party wins hands down. Wherever he has campaigned on the ground level, when he's there, the votes have changed. So he has to use his presence a lot more than what he is using right now, which will benefit the party, of course. So this is required, and a couple of other things also which they are always there. But I think majorly, if you look at it, these are the things which, if they can be done, we should be back in power in 27.
So what has been overall your experience with the party, and what are the good things that the party is doing which the public should know?
There are so many works. In terms of work, I think there is, if you just, where we are sitting, if you just look around, you have so many things, everything which you see. This entire township, the Medanta hospital next to us, the Palacio Mall, the DGP office, the police headquarters, the Dial 100, which of course now has been changed, 112. And then the stadium, and then you have the Gomti River front, then you have the expressway, then you have this Purvanchal expressway. So just by standing here, you can just look around and you can count. So there's so many works which have been done, and it's a very good party. People are actually connected with you. Wherever you go, you meet so many, especially the youth, which is there with you, standing with you, irrespective of whose government it is. They're still standing with you, and they will continue standing with you. So this is the one thing which is I have realized that it's a very good thing which other parties I don't think have, because they have politicians and they have voters, but they don't have that kind of emotional connect which Sapa has with its the youth especially. There's a very strong connect which is there, which can be felt by anyone who joins the party and is part of it. They can feel this. I think this is one thing which is good about it.
As you rightly said, that those faces are missing because it's a huge audience. A lot of people are there. So you need faces to connect. There has to be one bridging point.
Correct.
They are all connected to, they feel a connection with Akhilesh Yadav ji, but probably
because you will not be meeting him.
There's no leader in between that connect somewhere goes haywire, which I think people like you would work around, and the next election would be favorable. So, it would be hard to compare, but as an army officer, as a social worker, and as a political leader, you have played your role. You have given ample of years in all these three fields. Which one is more satisfying?
Difficult to choose, of course, but I think the backbone of everything, whatever I am in politics or whatever I was or I am in social work, is because of army. So I think that is the the platform which has helped me reach out to people. That is the platform which has taught me how to go about it, and it has helped me a lot. So if I would have been Ashish Chaturvedi, I don't think I would have made it this far, but because I'm Major Ashish Chaturvedi, so I think I've made it this far. So the credit or the whatever you can say, it goes to the army, because that's how things wouldn't have happened this way if we missed out. I think that episode of being invited to
we saw you on the sets of Saregama. So how did that happen?
I was just coming to that. One fine day I got a call that sir, मैं जी सारेगामा से बोल रहा हूँ और आपको हम as a special guest बुलाना चाहते हैं. So my first reaction was कि some of my friend is playing some prank on me, so I disconnected the call. फिर से फोन आता है कि सर वो कॉल डिस्कनेक्ट हो गई थी, हम जी सारेगामा से बुला रहे हैं आपको आना है. आई लाइक जी सारेगामा हैज गेस्ट्स फ्रॉम फिल्म स्टार्स, जिनकी मूवी रिलीज हो रही थी वो उसमें गेस्ट होते. तो बॉम्बे से मुझे क्यों बुलाएंगे? आई वाज हाँ, तो लाइक सर दिस इज अ स्पेशल एपिसोड, सो वी वुड लाइक टू इनवाइट यू. तो मैं सेकंड थॉट वाज अब ये कुछ मुझसे पैसे मांगने वाला है, जो भी है कि ये इतने पैसे आप दे दो तो हम आपको. हाँ, बट देन इट्स लाइक मी जी सारेगामा, why will they ask for you? This happens usually at local level,
small award shows and everything.
Why will they ask? And if they ask, they'll ask for a bit too much. So I said, what do I have to do? They said, sir, I'll firstly, if you're just giving me a verbal confirmation, I'll block your tickets. I said, okay, you will block the tickets, I don't have to pay. Safe side. What else? This is, sir, I'll be sending you a contract. You have to sign it and confirm it in writing. Then you can send it to me. I said, anything else? I was like, अब पैसे आएंगे, अब कुछ आएगा ऐसा कुछ नहीं आया. I said, नहीं सर, इतना ही है. And you just have to tell me your address and phone number. I said, my address, phone number, age, ये तो सबको public है, कुछ पता नहीं, बता दो. So then he was trying to explain other things, who will be there, where you will be staying, we will receive you, and even in the conversation only I got an SMS, that your flight to Mumbai has been booked. And I was like, oh, सही बोल रहा है. पूरी conversation में I wasn't sure कि ये सही call है. And then again it was a very good experience because I'm not much into music. So I only knew Shan. So they were all very good, and the grand jury was there, and जब we retake, I stayed there for 2 days, and जो होता gap, they would come talk to me and they would introduce themselves, and they could, from my reaction, they could make out कि ये हमें नहीं जान रहा है, with due respect, because my interest in music is not that much, so I didn't know. Then they would say, have you heard this song? I was like, yeah, I've heard it. I'm the one who sung that. So it was it's a good experience being there. But then again, that happened because I've done whatever I've done in army. So that's how I got
you could reach there.
Invited there.
So on that note, these reality shows, are they really real, or everything is staged and dialogues?
This wasn't exactly a reality show. It's a singing competition, so everything is genuine here. But in reality shows, since I've been to a couple of other shows and a lot of more radio interactions. So a couple of things are scripted also.
Because of late we see a lot of drama, जो शायद पहले नहीं, like when KBC started, it was normal, nice. Now a lot of emotions are pumped in.
I think you can make out that okay, this is stereotyped, and even in this show, there was somebody to tell me what I should be speaking. I said, no, I'll speak my heart. Because I will not be able to remember those lines, and you'll keep doing takes and retakes. So let me go there, let me speak whatever. This is in interaction. When they talk to you, you can talk whatever they'll ask you. But then, could you do it like this? I said, no, I'll keep my original. Even in this particular show, there was somebody who had been given this responsibility of what I'll be wearing, what I'll be speaking. So I said, no, I'll manage on my own. Don't
because
give
they
me
have
the
to show
lines.
everything perfect, you know.
Yeah, they try to.
They
which
try
I think
to
it's a
because-
business, so you have to keep everything perfect. So
Correct,
it's that way. That's what it is.
So nice. So, you know, one last question. What is the message that you'd like to give to the youth who's on the verge of choosing a career? Because your life is an example of success all throughout, you know. At least, you know, you are happy. You are satisfied. You are having a decent living. You have happiness. You have respect. You have money. You have all three things in your life which contributes to a decent living. So youth who's confused, who's wanting to do everything, you want power, you want money, you want the limelight, and then you want happiness also. Very few people are able to get all these things. What is your message to them? How to go about things?
I think I would say concentrate on happiness.
Okay.
Because anything else you try, firstly, you may try, but you may not succeed. But if you try being happy, chances are you will be successful.
Okay.
And once you're successful, you're happy. I think that's what matters. Because ultimately, whether you're trying to be, a manager, or you're trying to be a doctor, or you're trying to be a politician or a singer, yes, give it to 100%. Whatever you think you have the capacity and capability of, firstly, identify your skills. Every individual on this planet Earth has some skill or the other. किसी को खाना बनाना आता होगा, तो किसी को बोलना आता होगा, किसी को कुछ भी करना आता होगा. बट जो भी स्किल है, आइडेंटिफाई दैट. फर्स्टली नो योर सेल्फ. वंस यू नो योर सेल्फ, देन द रेस्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड विल नो यू.
Lovely. What a beautiful message. Thank you so much for coming, and truly an honor. Thank you for
so much.
protecting us for
It's
all
been
the
a pleasure
time you were
having
in the army, and thank you.
Thank you very much.